Hey, I'm going to go through the most common hotkeys that I use in Adobe Premiere to get the most efficient editing. It's all about speed, all about accurately editing as quickly as possible. All right, let's navigate to edit, keyboard shortcuts, and these are the keyboard shortcuts I've got. These are the best keys, the best. So in default, which I'm not really familiar with the default. Yeah, so QW is ripple to previous, edit to playhead, and also W is ripple to next edit playhead. Absolutely awful sounding names, but they're really efficient ways of dropping the playhead here. W deletes everything of this clip away, and same again. I don't know why you would do this, but Q deletes everything of this clip to the playhead. Boom, there we go. You can really efficiently jump through cuts one by one, chopping off certain segments you may not necessarily want. QW. This is quicker because the way you normally do it is just like the razor tool. You make a chop, then you go back to the regular tool, then you select what you need, then you would delete, then you would grab it all back and pull it in. Way too many clicks, way too many steps, complete waste of time. Hence the reason why ripple to playhead and ripple away from playhead are the master keys. Okay, so by default, L key is accelerate and play the footage back at an accelerated rate. If you're scrubbing through a lot of footage, you want to go through it as quickly as possible. I moved that from L to A, so it's defaulted to both at the moment. A because it's where your left hand settles on the keyboard, so you don't have to jump across the keyboard to press L. So it's nice and conveniently at your fingertips. So
goes without saying that you're going to need the upgrades for armor, as well as attack.
A.
Most of this special spicy unit. What do you think you're doing?
And there you go, times 2 speed. If you are very brave and you really hate yourself, you can go A again. You go incredibly fast. Very fast. Gotta go fast. If you're scribbling through a lot of footage, I'd recommend you do that, especially on a first cut. Not so much on a second cut when you want to accurately cut and trim a little bit more accurately. Anyway, edit, shortcuts. Okay, we have add edit, which is set to Z. Let me just pop into Adobe defaults. Don't even think add edit is even one of the defaults. Very silly, Adobe. There is Z, add edit. It is literally a shortcut to doing these steps: razor call and chop. Control Z to undo that. Go back to the regular tool. Drop the playhead. Z, nice slice cut. Not having to switch to the tool. Just does it all at your fingertips. A nice even chop. Lots of good chops, and then at that point you can do whatever you need to do. Once again, really useful. Minimizing from 3 key presses down to 1 key press. So we also have got the ripple delete assigned to X, which is a delete, as you would normally imagine, but it also ripples it back. So X, there we go, sucks it in. 2 more here, X, sucks it in there. Amazing. Also got the regular hotkey, which is set up to delete, which I find I use this rarer and rarer these days, so that's the reason why I've not got it close to my fingertips, but it is assigned to the delete key, which deletes it and leaves a gap. It is useful if you're doing some more advanced editing and you don't want to ripple things back because you're scared about knocking all your clips out of order. Okay, I use the slip tool quite often, and I've got it bound to V. The slip tool is this tool here. It's defaulted, I believe, to Y, I think. And you V selects the tool, and now you can, if you want to slide either the video or the audio back. Trust me, this tool takes a while to get your mind around, but when you master it, oh my god, it makes your life so much easier. So I say there's a big silence here, so what I'll do is grab it on the audio track and shift left, and it shifts it all the way back, so that way we can start with a more accurate cut. A little bit sharp there, drift it a little bit back. There we go.
Right, let's spin my special unit.
There we go. It's really useful, particularly if you've got silences at the beginning and end of certain clips and you just want to shift them around. Could be useful here because this is a very sharp edit and it comes into the sound straight away, and you've got a big silence on the right side, so you can use the slip tool and just slip it back a few milliseconds, and that's a way more professional edit. And I've also got C set up to default back to the selection tool because it's the one I most frequently use. So VX, VC, 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 VC. Remember, it's not also about selecting these tools, because if you want to, you can just move over and click them, but that's more steps. And VC is really close to your hand, so you can get access to it really quickly. Anyway, back into keyboard shortcuts. Next one I quite often use is the track select forward tool. Once again, these unbelievably long names. Welcome to Adobe Premiere, guys. So you press Y, and you can see it's changed the tool. It's defaulted to this one. And what it does is, if every track that isn't unlocked, if you click and right click, slides the whole entire project right. So therefore, you don't have to deal with gaps and whatnot. And let's see, just give an example there. And an example there. Oh my god. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Once again, it's very useful to get gaps if you want to insert something. Don't get me wrong, you can do a paste insert to shift everything along as you would normally do. Paste insert is quite useful. Don't use it very often, so I'm not going bound to a different key. But as you can see, it's Control-Shift-V there. And if you do want to paste something in, boom, pop that here. Control-Shift-V. So not only has it pasted it in, I'll change the color of it to teal. Not only has it pasted it in, but it shifted everything back as well. An example, Control-Shift-V. Boom, here we go. Don't frequently use that one, so I don't really have that bound to anything differently. But it's still accessible on your left hand, the Control-Shift-V. Another hotkey that I quite commonly use that are the Adobe defaults is if you drop your playhead, up arrow will shift you to the beginning of a clip, and then down arrow will snap you to the end of it. It's really useful if you're doing keyframes. And it's a really good way of, like, for instance, you make an advanced edit, you up arrow and you space, and you resume where you left off. Down arrow, space, up arrow, down arrow. You get the idea. It feels like something that doesn't really do a great deal. It looks like something that doesn't do a great deal, but trust me, when you go back and forth shifting between clips, you will find yourself coming to it more and more frequently. Mouse wheel, standard scrolling, control, mouse wheel, zooms in and out. I frequently do that quite often. If I wanted to zoom into a specific part, let's just say I want to start here, and therefore I'll do Alt, scroll wheel. Don't need to change anything with this one. These are just the standard defaults of Adobe Premiere, but they're incredibly useful to know about. Also, pretty an extreme. I probably do this once or twice per project. You've got home and end, which is the beginning and end of a project. Quite frequently, if I'm here and I just don't want to have to drag and scroll and whatnot, you can home and end to get to the very beginning if you want to start your second cut on the project. For the most part, those are the hotkeys that I've changed and adjusted, and the ones I use most frequently. One thing you'll notice is when I play back,
the Burgundians,
it will follow the playhead as it continues along. The way you enable this is you go into File, Preferences, Timeline, and then we go Timeline Playback, Auto Scrolling, put it on Smooth Scroll. This is a preference. I admit that everyone doesn't like this, and people like to manually move. As it currently stands, though, DaVinci Resolve does this better because if your middle mouse is the hand tool, and I wish middle mouse was hand tool for Premiere, but it's not. So until they introduce that feature, I recommend smooth scrolling to playhead. I hope you found this useful. Any suggestions below of any key binds and the hotkeys or any plugins or scripts that I could run and make my edit more efficient? Let me know in the comments below. Bye bye.